Yo, what's going on guys, Impulse here and welcome back to another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today we're going to be battling a guy called Matthieu who looks like he's got a pretty strong team. As you can see, I'm going to be using Lele, Steeler, Coco, Marowak, Fable and Vikavolt, and my opponent's going to be using Marowak, Stormy, Scizor, Xurkitree, Minio and Dragonite. So definitely some threats there. If you're a new viewer, definitely meet and mash that subscribe button for more content like this, and also hit that like button too. I appreciate it a lot. But without further ado, let's get into this battle. So looking at his team, I decided to lead with Lele. I knew that it was a good matchup against anything he had in his team apart from Marowak. But unfortunately he does lead with Marowak, so I don't really have anything I can do to the thing, because Marowak is an incredibly strong Pokemon. So I end up switching out and I go into Steeler pretty much to fodder it off, because I've got nothing that can take a Flare Blitz. Marowak actually just goes for a Will-O-Wisp, so that doesn't really make any difference. I expect to die to a Flare Blitz, but he actually switches out into Xurkitree, and I'm able to get a Toxic off on Xurkitree. Obviously, if I could have got that off on Marowak, it would have been nice, but I didn't expect too much considering I were only foddering this thing off. So what I should do here is use a Protect. I kinda get scared, panicked, and I go straight out for a switch into Marowak to get the Lightning Rod up. I figured I'd take the initiative, be as safe as possible, but unfortunately my opponent predicts that and goes out into his Stormy. So it's a really good play from him and leaves me kind of out in the gutter. So I am going to have to switch out again back into Lele because Lele has an Assault Vest. Stormy is going to end up using a Scald. It's going to do a decent amount of damage, but not too much considering I've got an Assault Vest. Stormy reveals it's got a Life Orb, and at this point he's going to have to switch out. I go for the Psyshock, and I assume he's predicting the Thunderbolt. I do some good damage even though it's resisted because we have the field up, but now the field disappears and I don't want to take a Bullet Punch. So I'm going to have to switch out and I go into Marowak, because I feel that Marowak completely walls Scizor considering we resist both of its stab. He goes for his Mega Evolution and he gets up a Swords Dance. But even with that, I'm still not fearing it. And then he uses the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing's a 60 power Dark move, and that's boosted by Technician, so we are going to go down. So that is definitely something to watch out for, especially against Marowak and Metagross. At this point I bring in Steeler, take the damage, and I'm going to set up a Leech Seed. I figured since he's got Sword Dance and Brutal Swing, he's probably got Bullet Punch and Bug Bite as his last two moves. I'm going to try get some damage on him, some recovery on me, and stall him out a little bit. So Scizor goes down to half HP, and we are going to be up at a decent amount of HP. So I go for the Protect to try and stall him out, because that's all I can really do at this point. But he's actually got the Roost, so he doesn't have the Bug Bite, and obviously it's a pretty bad situation what I'm in right now. We are of course going to get some HP back, but that's not really going to matter too much. We did plan on foddering Steeler since like the beginning of the game, so it doesn't matter too much if it goes down. Obviously if we can keep it alive a little bit longer, that would be nice. But he's going to go for his Brutal Swing again and do a ton of damage. I don't really have much options here, so I go for a Giga Drain. It gets a crit, but it's 4 times resisted, so he's not going to care about it in the slightest. We get the smidgen of HP back, and we're going to stall out for another turn with Leech Seed and Leftovers. So this turn I'm going to go for the Protect to try and get even more HP back, but my opponent predicts this and goes for a Sword Dance, which turns a bad situation even worse. So now I'm really not sure what I want to do, but I'm forgetting my options in the back. So again I'm just going to stall out a little bit, and Steeler's going to eventually go down. So I want to use this opportunity to say, if you are wanting a battle with me at some point, go and follow me on Twitter at Impulse191. I'll be over there where we can talk, we can set up for battles. I'll probably be asking for them over there. So Steeler goes down and I'm going to bring in Lele. Lele sets up the field, and I'm obviously going to outspeed this thing, and I've got hidden power fire, so that's going to take out the major threat right there. My opponent brings in Xurkitree, and he's going to go for a Thunderbolt, but as I previously stated, we have got an Assault Vest, so we're able to eat that up pretty nicely, and fire back with our Psyshock. Obviously with its weak defense, it's going to go down, and then out comes Marowak. Marowak is a bit too much of a threat for my liking, so I'm going to go to Vikavolt to fodder this thing off. My opponent actually goes for a Boomerang, so we're able to avoid that with Levitate, which was not my intention, but I'll take it. And then, as I was expecting a Flare Blitz, my opponent actually goes for a Will-O-Wisp, so we're able to get some chip damage on with Bug Buzz, even though it's not very effective. At this point I was expecting my opponent to Flare Blitz again, but he predicts a switch, goes for the Will-O-Wisp again, and I don't really want to risk him not having the Flare Blitz. So I'm just going to stay in, fodder Vikavolt, and keep going for those Bug Buzzers. The field disappears finally. We're going to fire off another attack as my opponent keeps trying to burn me on the switch. Or maybe he didn't have Flare Blitz, I'm not too sure. Oh, by the way, I just want to say that I'm loving the support that you guys are giving the channel at the moment. You're really doing an amazing job. If you guys can keep it up, I really would appreciate it. So he finally gets sick and tired of Marowak being in, and he decides to switch out. He goes into Starmie, I guess, to fodder it off. And we hit it with a super effective Bug Buzz, which is going to annihilate it. This allows him to bring Dragonite in. So we're obviously expecting him to set up as he goes for the Dragon Dance, and I assumed that it would have a Lumberry, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to take any chances. I go for the T-Wave. If it's got a Lumberry, we're going to burn it up. The T-Wave connects, and it's going to pop the Lumberry, so at least we know that it can't go for a potential sweep with Outrage so freely. Dragonite's ready, it's set up, and it's preparing for an attack. It actually reveals that it has a Fire Punch, which is something that I wasn't expecting, and Vikavolt's going to go down so quick. Next we're going to bring in Tapu Koko. We set up the terrain, and I've got a Speed Up Nature, and I'm using a Choice Band. So I'm going to fire off a standard Wild Charge boosted by the terrain. It's going to do some nice damage, but not enough to take it out. And Dragonite is going to Earthquake us, which we was expecting, so there's not much I can do about that. Next we bring up Clefable, and I'm not sure how much this Earthquake's going to do, so I'm just going to fire off that Moonblast because I want to get rid of this thing as soon as possible. Maybe looking back at it, I might have been able to use a Cosmic Power and survive the next attack, and then gain some HP with Moonlight, but obviously because of high rolls and low rolls I didn't want to risk it. I just wanted to take it out and remove the threat. His next Pokemon is Minio, and of course he's going to go for the Shell Smash, which is all sorts of trouble for us. He goes for the Shell Smash, he gets his boost, and he's got a White Herb to restore his stats. We've got the Charge Beam, so I'm going to go for that and hope that it can do some good damage to it while we're in the terrain. It does about half, but that's not going to be enough to take it out. And we get the boost as well, which is not too bad, but now we know what's coming. Acrobatics of the Gods. He's going to get it off, do some major damage and take us out. And my last Pokemon is a weakened Tapu Lele, which is not going to be able to do anything. So before the episode ends, I'm going to ask question of the episode. And that is, what do you feel is the strongest non-legendary Pokemon in Sun and Moon? For me, it has to be either Alolan Marowak or Toxapex. So leave your answer down in the comments below. So good game, Matthieu, it was an awesome battle. Anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this battle or learned something useful, don't forget to meet and mash that like, share and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters!